crypto has went from 0 to 4 trillion with zero support, with zero friendliness in the market, is because this is a global phenomenon. Okay, there are nodes running the Bitcoin software or Ethereum software literally on every continent, every country in this planet. CBDCs are banned, so every Republican in the country now has to be pro self-custody, pro crypto if they want RNC dollars and support, which is wonderful. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy JT Knows Things, and we are back to Bullish and Beyond, our podcast. And today I am alone. I'm running solo. I'm running solo because Brian is traveling with family, enjoying his week off. And, we're here today to talk about something that I think is really, 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 really bullish, but for crypto. So, I'm not going to be covering tech and stocks today. I'm just going to be talking about crypto, specifically the changes we're seeing in basically the administration, the federal government, how they're treating blockchain or digital assets, crypto, tokens, coins, whatever you would like to call them. A lot has changed. For those who do not know, back in, I would say, since 2017, there's been this, I'll call it a mission of the Democratic Party. And, they essentially called it Choke Point 1.0 and then Choke Point 2.0 because they had a little road bump in their process, but mainly due to Trump. Um, so essentially their plan was to regulate these assets by enforcement. So not have any structured registration process, which we still don't have, by the way, for those who do not know, in 2025, we do not have that. Um, and then if you interact with these assets at all, you will be sued for, you know, using an unregistered security, even though there's no registration process. So then you're called an intermediary without a license, then you get sued. And the SEC has done this a few hundred times to some of the largest companies. In fact, they let Coinbase IPO in 2014 or 2015 and then sued them for being an exchange of unregistered securities years later. It's comical, it's hypocritical, it doesn't make any sense. And with Trump's you know, new election, he's the president again. He's taking a way more aggressive position against the Democrats. He pushed for the RNC to have a specific section in their platform for innovation, specifically called out digital assets, blockchain, and said the right to self custody will be preserved. CBDCs are banned. So every Republican in the country now has to be pro self custody, pro crypto if they want RNC dollars and support, which is wonderful. That's a big change. And then the breaking news that the reason why we're here today is going to be the fact that he has appointed so many hitters in so many different asset or facets of the federal government regulatory regime. Okay. Starting with the power of the purse, Congress, right? Cynthia Loomis, since 20, I believe 18, she's been bringing bills to the floor that never get passed to allow the federal government to custody Bitcoin. Like, hey, let's stop selling what the U.S. federal marshals have. Let's essentially buy more. Let's buy 10 a day, 100 a day for the next, 500 days, 1,000 days, get up to a million Bitcoin. We get a million Bitcoin, we'll be vibing, is what she believes. And she's been trying to get that done for a very long time, and it's been shot down. Well, Trump made her in charge of a blockchain subcommittee inside of Congress, and her job is to bring reasonable, you know, plans and bills to Trump that are bipartisan, that are pro crypto. Then we go to the SEC, which obviously is one of the most important ones. He made two big moves that are just, oh, God, it's so good for crypto. Um, First, Gary Gensler, the perpetrator of the Democratic choke point 2.0 and 1.0, that guy's out. And he appointed Paul Atkins, who has a blockchain consulting company. He's active on Farcaster. He is a crypto native. Okay. He has some of his net worth in crypto. This guy understands it completely. And he is the new SEC chairperson or chairman. The second thing he did was basically charge the SEC with another subcommittee to basically focus on crypto specific litigation. So all of the enforcement that the SEC done, he appointed Hester Peirce, which is one of five chair people at the SEC that has filed dissents or, voiced dissension against Gary Gensler's behavior, his decisions, his regulatory approach. She hates it, hated it, still hates it. Was considering leaving the SEC because of it. She is now in charge of reviewing every single case. And I reckon in the next 6 months, we're going to see a lot of dismisses. We're going to see a lot of filings to dismiss cases that she feels are not reasonable. Um, so that's massive. But it gets better. It gets better. I swear it gets better. He also just announced Brian Quintens is going to be the CFTC chairman. Now, why does that excite me? Well, Brian Quintens was CFTC chairman in 2017 to 2020, I believe, or 2021. Yeah. And he fought choke point. He has crypto. He also, when he left the CFTC for a couple of years, till Trump came back, worked for Andreessen Horowitz, which is one of the biggest venture capitalists in the world that runs one of the most, successful crypto hedge funds, right? I look up to Andreessen Horowitz a lot. They're very smart people. They've been in this space for a long time. They're regulatory consultants who also invest in crypto, who has minted NFTs on Farcaster, interacts with crypto Twitter. It's crazy. That is now the CFTC chairperson. So we have the SEC, Congress, and the CFTC all not just going back to neutral, they're going full 100 out of 100. This is a 180-degree twist, complete twist from where we were just a year ago. Okay. Completely changing everything. And the reason why I think that's so bullish, so massive, is crypto has went from 0 to 4 trillion with zero support, with zero friendliness in the market. Imagine you're a tribe and you're starving and you live in the woods and the weather's crazy, you don't know how to build shelter, all these things. And then out of nowhere, like a book falls and you're just like, "Oh my God, this is how you do everything?" And it's going to take time for you to make a settlement, obviously. No different than it's going to take time to make these changes actually affect the price. But if you put in the work and you're patient, eventually you're going to, survive. Um, Learn how to build spears, kill things, you get it. The fact that we were able to go from 0 to 4 trillion with the equivalent of starving in the woods in terms of an environment where we can function well in America, um, is incredible. So the fact that we're about to get this kind of clarity, I believe in the next, 6, 12, 18 months, because this stuff does take time, guys. Um, we're going to see explosive growth, because a lot of the reasons individuals won't, adopt blockchain at large institutions or really anywhere is they don't want to get hit with a Wells notice saying, "Hey, you're being an intermediary and you don't have a license, or you're custodying, money and you don't have a license. You're not a bank." All this other stuff, and that's a big, 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 big problem. So that's all going away, and the reason why crypto is able to grow without that in the United States is because this is a global phenomenon. Okay, there are nodes running the Bitcoin software or Ethereum software literally on every continent, every country in this planet, on this planet. So, you know, no one can control it, no one can stop it. Now, the interesting thing is, since we are the global reserve currency, and everyone looks to America for basically how do you do this? Like we are the world leaders. I don't know if that's going to change in the next 10, 20, 30 years, but for now, everyone looks to us for a lot of things. No one's waiting for China to build the next, surgical device or the next drug or, um, you know, sensible regulations, democratic processes, right? Like we are the people that this country stands for a lot of things. And I'm very proud to be an American in that regard. And, you know, the fact that we've been so shitty to crypto and the other countries are way ahead of us. Even Europe, the European Union, has this thing called MICA, and it's years ahead of where we're at. They at least know what a security and commodity is and the fees and it, like you just deal with it, right? We can't even deal with it. Right now, the government's position is it's all bad. And we're not even going to tell you it's bad. We're going to let you work with this bad stuff, and then we're going to sue you for doing it because you didn't ask the questions or I don't even know what I've never had to do this as a fund manager yet, but I've listened to a lot of very important people like the CEO of Coinbase describe the relationship with the SEC or Kraken, and it's not good for these reasons. And all these countries look to us. So the fact that Cynthia Loomis, Hester Peirce, Paul Atkins, Brian Quintenz, Trump, the crypto czar. I forgot about that. He appointed a crypto czar. All of these things are going to add and accumulate into a significant pivotal shift in Americans' outlook on crypto that will then proliferate to all the other countries. They're going to look to us for a framework. So it's not just America, it's everywhere. They're going to start getting in tow because they are only going to use it if the United States basically blesses it. Because you also got to remember, the United States defends the US dollar passionately. Our military, as soon as they start sniffing some people that want to get off the US dollar, it just serendipitously occurs that we invade and give them a little bit of freedom. Like Saddam Hussein was trying to make a hard money standard and get off the dollar and all this other stuff. I'm not saying he's a patriot. He's an awful human, and I'm glad he's gone. But my point is, since we basically got off the gold standard and we've been entrenched in this OPEC deal with the Middle East, we have been obligated to defend the dollar's place in the oil trade. And we had a 50-year agreement with OPEC, which is this organization that made all these Saudis rich, that the oil they sell will be in dollar. And that is the majority of the entropy or, resources, energy, the quote unquote hardness of our money has been the oil trade. And that expired in late 24. So we have to find a way to insert entropy or support into our dollar, and we can strengthen our balance sheet. That's what Doge is doing. That's a big deal. We can do that by doing two things. We can increase our top line revenue. It's no different than a business. So either we tax more or we tariff and we try to get better trade deals and all this other stuff, which is why Trump is focusing on this. He wants to increase the top line without making life more expensive for Americans. And the second thing you need to do is cut costs. That's how you get the deficit under control and America doesn't go bankrupt. So trying to save $1 trillion this year through Doge is a massive, massive, massive undertaking, but could genuinely save the dollar from, its inevitable demise. It might extend our lifespan another 10 years. And that's a whole nother thing. About fiat currencies and all the other stuff. It's probably another episode. But on these episodes, bullish moments, the goal is to give you a 10, 15, 20-minute little snippet of big news that are bullish moments in time and just give you the thoughts on them. So we'd love to know what you think about these. It's outside of our general, weekly update on the markets, both crypto and tech stocks. So this is something that we're playing with. we would love to know if you like it. But in general, we want to keep doing these things and bring you our thoughts on more relevant things that just occurred. So the fact that Brian Quinten's just got appointed to the CFTC chair, we've been waiting for an answer on that. It finally came out. Couldn't have been a better pick. I think we're only going to be snowballing into more and more and more positive regulatory environments in all different sectors. I think it's going to just be a blanket across the board. Everyone's going to get the green light. I'm not saying it's going to happen today, but in the next, I would say, 2 to 4 quarters, we're going to see serious changes here in America and then abroad, because a lot of people look to America for how to handle things, basically. So, all right, guys, that's it. Let me know what you think. I am pumped. This is bullish as ever, y'all. It's exciting. Until next time, take care of one another, and I will see you at the Crypto Den. Cheers.
Bulls. That's a wrap on today's episode of Bullish and Beyond. Remember, the market never sleeps, and neither should your ambitions. Whether it's stocks, crypto, or just leveling up in life, stay focused, stay bullish, and keep charging forward. Keep your energy high and your mindset bullish. This is Beery the Bull, your AI co-host, Brian the Macman, and JT Knows Things signing off. All content published by Bullish and Beyond, LLC, reflects personal opinions only and is provided for informational purposes. Please conduct your own research and discuss with your accountant and/or financial advisor before making any financial decisions. The information presented should not be taken as financial advice. We are not financial advisors. Nothing you hear, see, or read in our content should be considered as any form of financial, investment, or legal advice, or a solicitation to buy or sell any assets, or to make any financial decisions.